Also, Frisky Tanuki had to say the Rogue One discussion was pretty ridiculous.
He liked the movie a lot, is what you're saying?
I can't get into his brain, but
well, you saw it finally.
I did. I had quite the theater experience.
What do you mean?
Well, I was very excited because I was going to go see the new Star Wars movie, and I bought my ticket a week in advance, and it was just me alone. But I got, I know what the theaters. Yes, exactly. I know what the theaters look like at my local cinema, so I knew exactly where my seat was. It was the seat I wanted. It was in the big theater. I get my ticket. I go. I ring it up. I sit down on my chair, and it's those big electric recliners that I like so much. And I'm sitting there, and I'm going, and I'm watching the previews, and they wide there are little curtains on the side. Not little, they're big curtains. And they open them up a little bit to let you know this is a movie. This is widescreen, big screen movie. Nothing happens. And everyone's sitting there in the dark. Mm-hmm. And 5 minutes goes by.
Nothing happened in the first hour of when I watched this movie.
I think he's saying there was no picture, Shipwreck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's not talking about the story.
Nothing. Just
okay.
And then it took almost a half hour to 45 minutes for someone to actually say, the machine's broken. We're going to have to move half of you to another theater because the only available theater is half the size. So they moved, because I was alone, I could move. I moved to the little theater.
Right.
And I sat down and I had a good seat, but it was tiny. And the screen was was small for a movie screen. Like this might have been 2/3 the size of the screen that I had previously.
You should have got a rain check.
Well, I got one anyway.
Did you give him the little how's it doing?
Yes, I gave him the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And it was weird because, first of all, it's already an hour past when the movie was supposed to start. I've had to get up and move, which really, no one wants to do that. So I'm already in kind of like a grouchy mood. And then the movie starts, and you could tell that the screen isn't the right aspect ratio for this movie. It had the black bars on the top and the bottom, nice. Watching it at home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this fucking sucks. So I'm just sitting there, just stewing in my own juices for maybe the first half or more of this movie.
Stewing in your stew juice?
Stewing in my stew juice, yes, no pun intended. And so my world view on this film may be tainted. I may need to see it again,
right? But
I don't know when I'll get a chance to go see it again.
When it's on Netflix.
Exactly. And then it'll still have the black bars. But at least I'll be home. Yeah. So I was just, it was just a frustrating experience.
Yeah. Any little frustration at a movie theater, I feel, is just unacceptable because you can watch this shit at home where it's going to be frustration free and just go 100% your way. So you're paying a premium basically for a service at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not perfect, then what's the point? You might as well just fucking wait.
You're not wrong. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm not asking for the moon here.
Right,
I'm
just asking that it works.
I'm asking for the projector in the theater to work.
Yeah. I have a lot of good movie theater stories that I've probably told before over the years. But
I was slightly annoyed, but I watched the movie and I listened to you guys. For the most part, I probably agree with what you say. There were certain things that I liked. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know what's considered a spoiler.
Just generalizations are fine.
You know what? It's funny because it actually got me thinking about something that I saw recently regarding the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
See, I could spoil that because that's 20 years old.
Yes, you can.
So I think something that the prequels, something that they tried to tell in their story that they didn't do a very good job with, but I thought was important, was showing how the Jedi Council was far from perfect.
This is about to get super nerdy. We've already reached full nerd.
We're beyond full nerd. So, the idea of the Jedi Council being fallible not being a perfect entity, making mistakes. And it's as much the mistakes of the Jedi Council as it is the influence of the Emperor that turns Anakin into Darth Vader. Spoiler alert, Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader.
Right.
So, and I think that's an important plot point of these films.
Okay.
I don't think that the prequels do a very good job of showing that, but I think they're trying to show that. Right? Right. Okay. Do we agree, disagree?
Sure.
Doesn't matter.
We agree. I don't agree that it's necessary to show that. But
Well, I think that it's something that if it was done right, might have helped Rogue One a little bit more. Because I think that they're trying to kind of show that again in Rogue One.
sure.
And I don't know if it also, I think, in some ways kind of fails on that. And that I think is just one thing that you guys didn't talk about that I would have added to the conversation. To show a little bit of, because then it makes Forrest Whitaker's character have a purpose.
Well, I mean, that's the only purpose he had was that. Well, let's not get into spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but I'm just kind of piggybacking onto what you guys said and kind of where I have more thoughts on it too, but everything else would be a spoiler. But that's one of the things that you didn't talk about. I'll bring it up. I think that the movie could have done a better job of kind of, why the Republic failed. I think is a big part of this movie that I don't think it does a good job of explaining, or could have done a better job, or I don't know, just something else.
Needs lightsabers.
And it needs lightsabers. That guy totally should have had a lightsaber, the blind guy.
Right. He could have found it somewhere. Who cares?
Found it? He's the guardian of them.
Right. The crystals. Right.
That's his job.
Why wouldn't he make himself one?
He didn't even have to make himself one.
Well, he works in
the lightsaber store.
No. He works in the battery store.
Do you know anyone who works in a gun shop that doesn't own a gun?
Well, if the guy was blind and he worked there, he probably wouldn't own one.
I still think he would. Especially if he knew how to use it.
Oh.
Do you know anyone who works in any store that doesn't have the product that it sells? If it only sold one product?
I don't know that it was really a lightsaber store. That might be pushing it.
You think? But
it was more like a mine or something.
I know.
I don't even know what it was. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. They don't even do a good job. It was the Kyber Crystal Temple.
I really enjoyed that video that you sent me. The
Red Letter Media. Yeah, Red Letter Media does a really good job of not the Mr. Plinkett review, although that's good too, but their actual, I think it's the Half in the Bag review.
Yeah, that's it. I watched the whole, and Mrs. Cheapy watched it too. We watched the whole thing. I was dying. The first 5 minutes of it, I think I was on the floor dying, basically. It was so funny.
You should watch their other reviews too. You would like, because you saw Suicide Squad and all those movies. They review all of them.
I don't need to watch them like shit on movies necessarily, and certainly movies that I saw like months ago that I don't really need to think about anymore.
I was gonna say I don't even think they necessarily shit on them as much as they just are. They have, they have points and they do it in a humorous way.
Right. I'm saying like I don't need to think about Suicide Squad anymore. But for a movie that I just saw,
this is a movie that makes you think about it, like because it's Star Wars.
Yeah, of course.
And I have lots of thoughts of it.
You're going to be sitting there at your desk, like doing something else, and all of a sudden something's going to pop into your head about this movie.
Yes.
I think that they're again, I can't say anything because I don't want to spoil it.
No, it's a good movie. People get on us sometimes for being overly critical on stuff. We're critical on stuff because we want to like stuff. We know what we like. If we don't
Star
care about
Wars. It's sacred. It has to be good. I mean, there's a standard, right? It's not.
And I like, the one thing that they did in this movie that I think that I also really liked was I think it changes, if anything, in New Hope, your perception of the motives and actions of Grand Moff Tarkin. So
great.
That's something else I liked. I like that. I actually like that a lot. And I thought that Ben Mendelsohn was very good too.
Big
That's the
Grand
bad
Moff
guy.
Tarkin fan over here.
I liked his motivation. I don't want to give anything away.
I liked his zombie stare.
I couldn't even tell you what his motivation was because I was just staring at him the entire time he was on screen.
It was actually one of the few. It was one of the canon twists that they did that I actually thought was really clever and very smart. So there you go.
Maybe I need to watch it again at some point in the future.
That's me saying, people want to hear positive things. I said something positive that I haven't really heard that many people talk about.
Good.
But I thought it was a really important character development point for a character from A New Hope that never really had that much development. So, go Star Wars.
Great.